Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Murrow Minutes Goes Virtual. My name is Mackenzie Johnson, and I'm the recruitment coordinator for the Murrow College. And today we are talking all about transfer students. Whether you're a current student here at WSU, whether you're currently attending school somewhere else and thinking about transferring to WSU, we want to answer some of the really kind of tricky questions that you might have as you go through that process. It's a tricky process to begin with, but then with everything that's been going on over the past year and a half, we're sure that you have lots of questions about what that whole process looks like. So today we have some awesome guest speakers here with us to talk about their experiences as transfer students. But before we jump into getting their perspectives and their advice, the first thing that I want to address is, what does it mean to be a transfer student, right? We get that question all the time in the Murrow College and at WSU. So the first thing to note is that there is a difference between being a true transfer student and being a high school student that took college credit, right? So really how we define a true transfer student is if you attended college after the summer following high school graduation. So if you just graduated high school in May, and then you attended college after summer, so starting in the fall, starting in the next spring, and you were taking classes at a community college or some other university, then you're a transfer student, because that means you finished high school and you went somewhere else for a little while. If you just took AP credits, if you took Running Start credits in high school, we certainly accept those credits and it gives you a jump start into your degree program here at WSU, but you're not considered a transfer student. So just the reason why we want to clarify that is as you're applying to WSU, there is a little bit of differences in those applications as far as selecting, your background and sending in those credits. So just as long as you're aware of those differences, then we can jump in and talk about what the process is like for those of you that are coming from other institutions, community colleges or universities, by asking a few of our student ambassadors some of the questions about what that means to them. And again, before we jump in, I'll say this a couple times throughout this episode. WSU has extended our transfer deadline to July 15th. So if you're considering transferring to WSU and to the Murrow College, you have plenty of time to apply. And we'll also review a lot of resources here at the end of this video about how to transfer your credits, how to schedule appointments with me to review all of that together. But before that, I think it's really important to get the student perspective. So with us today, we actually have two of our awesome Murrow ambassadors who are transfer students themselves. So we have a couple of questions that we're going to throw to them and have them answer for us today. So first, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Olivia, I'll throw it to you first.
Hi, I am Olivia. I am getting a dual degree in public relations and communication technology. I am a transfer student and I'm really excited to be here.
How about you, Liz?
Hi, everyone. My name is Liz Gorell. I am a transfer student from the Everett Community College, and I am currently attending at Washington State University, Everett. My major is integrated strategic communication, and I'm also minoring in environmental science.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining us today. They both jumped at the chance to be able to talk to other transfer students about their experiences. So thank you both for joining us. I think the first question that students would want to know after hearing that you're transfer students is, why did you decide to transfer to Washington State University and the Murrow College? And Olivia, I'll toss it to you first.
I decided to transfer here for the Murrow College itself. I was looking at what I wanted to do with my future, and I realized Murrow College, public relations, and then adding on another degree in communication technology would really help me get there. And I'm so glad I made that decision to transfer here. I've loved every minute of it, and it's really the best decision.
How about you, Liz? What made you decide to transfer?
So I'm more of a small town home type of gal, and I live out in Marysville, Washington. So for me, it was all about location. Family means a lot to me, so I didn't want to go off in a far distance or have to commute to Seattle or Bellingham. And so discovering that the Everett Community College was promoting WSU in Everett, I felt this is perfect. This is exactly the path that I'm wanting to go, and it's right in my backyard. So it was a huge discovery.
That's fantastic. And honestly, what it sounds like from both of you as well is that the process to transfer was actually relatively easy. It was promoted by Everett Community College, other places talked about it and kind of gave you resources about how to transfer here. So we'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. But thank you both so much for sharing your stories about why you decided to come here. Next really is more about the process, the transfer process. So what was that like for both of you? What were some of maybe the challenges or advantages to transferring to WSU and Murrow College? And Olivia, again, I'll turn it over to you first.
Honestly, it was such an easy process for me. I remember it was a few years ago now, but I remember just sending over my transcript from my community college, and that was super easy. And then when I got here, I met with my advisor, Tammy, and she walked me through everything super easily. She knew everything basically off the top of her head, what transferred to what directly. And I knew I wanted to be in the Murrow College, so that made that super simple. And overall, it was a really easy process. I had a lot of support on the WSU end, and there are online resources that you can access yourself to really make the process even more simple. So, yeah, I had a great experience with it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. We'll definitely talk about advising and transferring those credits in just a moment as well and kind of share those resources you mentioned. How about you, Liz?
As far as my transfer experience, I would say it was pretty simple again, especially from Everett Community College to Washington State University, Everett. One, because my advisor was aware of the university options across the street. And two, just preparing my transcripts to get me in a very beneficial position when transferring over. By having a direct transfer agreement, I was able to take all my lower end equivalence classes at Everett Community College. So that way, when I transferred, I was set up for success, which was huge. I also appreciated that there was options for orientation. This is, of course, pre-pandemic, when I was able to physically step foot on the campus and kind of walk around, get introduced to a few of the faculty that is specifically for communications. So that was also a huge benefit of being able to see and meet and greet everyone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much for sharing a little bit about that process. You both have mentioned some of the resources that you used in order to do that, and I'm going to share some of those here at the end of this video. But more specifically, were there other resources or things that you would want to share with students about the process, specific websites or people you talked to? Olivia, you mentioned your advisor, Tammy. Is there any other resources specifically that you would want to share with transfer students that are either already here, maybe, or also considering applying to WSU and transferring? And Olivia, I'll send that over to you.
Yeah, so besides my advisor, just the whole WSU transfer website is really great. I don't remember the URL off the top of my head, but they have a ton of information there. You can look up your specific college, see exactly what credits transfer to what, and just like get an overall overview of everything that you possibly could wonder about. And then, yeah, when you have your specific advisor, they too will work with you and help you figure out exactly what you need to fulfill the rest of your general requirements, or if any of your classes transfer to other things. Both of those are really, really great resources.
How about you, Liz?
So I want to piggyback off of what Olivia just said. I think those are all great resources. For myself, I feel one of the biggest resources I continue to rely on was other classmates, not only in my grade, but also senior level, because I feel while advisors are very helpful and I do not denounce them, I feel that a fellow student walking through the similar paths as you is able to say, oh, this is the advisor I love to talk to. She's really quick on responding, or, oh, this class was actually a lot more fun with this instructor. And I felt that community, that connection really helped me navigate and make better decisions that I felt confident in. I didn't felt that I was just being told to do it, but I felt that I had more of a voice in it and I felt confident with my decision.
I love that. I love both of the, using the resources that WSU has, like our transfer credit website to get through that process, but then using advisors and, like you said, Les, fellow students to say, hey, what do I need to know? What advice can you give me? So that's fantastic. Thank you both so much for sharing that. Finally, before I, give you guys the rest of your days off here, I just wanted to ask one more question, and that is, if you could give one piece of advice to a transfer student, whether they're going to apply, whether they're here, what is your advice, transfer student to transfer student? And Olivia, I'll kick that over to you first.
My piece of advice is to not procrastinate sending over your documents at all. I am a little bit of a procrastinator, but I was on top of getting everything sent over ahead of time just to make sure that, like, when I did arrive for my in-person orientation session a few years ago, that everything was ready to go. I was ready to meet with my advisors and discuss classes because, normally that's when you schedule your first semester of classes is during those events. And just, yeah, make sure that you're on top of everything, double check. Yeah, don't procrastinate.
That's great advice. How about you, Liz?
So I fully agree with that as well. That's something I always need to keep in mind. I would say for me, I have two big pieces of advice. One is, out of my personal opinion, it can be intimidating to transfer over because I'm not sure, everybody has a different experience, but coming from a community college that's a lot smaller, you kind of gotten used to the layout and the instructors who are involved. So it can be intimidating because it's new, it's different, it's changed. So the advice that I have is, I don't want to say don't get intimidated, but don't give up. Even though it's different and it's might be scary, it's worth it. Just take that step in. And then the other piece of that links to it is get engaged. For myself, especially during the pandemic, I felt isolated. I felt that I wasn't connecting with anyone. I didn't get to see my friends. I wasn't able to, do small talk with the professors between classes. And I feel that by introducing myself into the clubs and Murrow ambassadors, I was able to have that, again, community. I was able to feel like I was a part of something. I felt that I had value. And I'm not sure, again, things might be different in fall. We might be going back to in-class persons, but even with that said, still stay engaged, still show up. Don't just come to class and leave, but try to make small chat with your classmate next to you. And I really do feel that it makes a difference, and it helps you to continue to want to be engaged, is that when you have that fellowship.
Wow, that's fantastic advice from both of you. You've both made me want to transfer to WSU, and I'm not even a student anymore. So thank you both so much for sharing those experiences. It's so important to, like both of you said, stay on top of the process of actually transferring. But then once you're here, like you said, let's dive right into it. Get engaged and don't be intimidated by, a bigger university or a bigger class size. We're definitely a community and a family here at WSU, and specifically in the Murrow College. So definitely be sure to jump right in. Thank you both so much for sharing those pieces of advice with us. Like I promised here at the end of the episode, I did want to share some of the resources that we have for transfer students and for any student that's applying to WSU and Murrow. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just share my screen just to share a couple of the websites, and we'll throw these up in the video as well. I will pull up what we have here. So the first website I want to share is just murrow.wsu.edu. This is the Murrow College homepage. And from there, you can navigate to this tab that says Future Murrow Coots, and then to the undergraduate page. And here's where we're going to have information about transfer students, upcoming events. You can see some of our other Murrow Minutes Goes virtual videos here, and also our 360 tours for those of you that are unable to be on campus with us. But otherwise, we're really excited to be able to have this and share with you here. So feel free to explore this page on our website. The next page that I also wanted to share, we've mentioned it a couple times, is the transfer credit search tool. So this is where you can actually go to see how your transfer credits come from either your community college or another university, or even your running start credits to WSU. How to use the database, there's a video here that you can watch to learn how to use that. I won't walk you through the whole process here today, but you can read how to use this tool. And then after you kind of take a look at this, there's so many other questions I'm sure that you might have. So for example, if one of your classes isn't showing on this course tool, what do you do, right? How do you use this request form? How do you see if it transfers to the Murrow College? So there might be other questions that you have even after exploring this page. So with that, What we always share, and it's back on our Murrow page as well, but you're always welcome to schedule a one-on-one appointment with me, again, Mackenzie, the recruitment coordinator for the Murrow College. Just by going to this link here, we'll share it again in this video, and you can sign up for a one-on-one phone or video appointment with me, and I'll walk you through the whole process, whether it's submitting your application, evaluating your transfer credits, signing up for a live orientation, whatever you need help with. I'm definitely available. These are all my available appointments, so I'm really wide open here in June. But feel free to schedule that appointment, ask the questions. My email's also listed on our Murrow page as well, so you can always shoot me an email. But really, like our ambassadors have said today, the most important thing that you can do is just to reach out and ask those questions. We can walk you through the process. We've done this with hundreds of students before, so don't feel like you have to do it on your own. If you're interested at all in transferring to Washington State, get your application submitted and then reach out with any questions you have even before you confirm. Tell us what you're worried about. We'll connect you with other students, ask for other pieces of advice, let us know what you're confused about, and we'll get you on the right path. We have students, as you've seen, that have gone through this process before, even in the pandemic, right? And they're still here with us and engaged with us. So reach out to us with any questions that you might have. Also, watch for future Murrow Minutes Goes virtual videos for additional resources that we'll have and events that we'll have coming up in the fall semester. But other than that, I wanted to thank our ambassadors again for joining us today to share their information about being transfer students here in the Murrow College. As always, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, follow us on social media to get all of our updates, watch for future episodes, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Cougs!